Laura, is that her name?
That's what she said.
This town is full of pizza. How can you sit there and eat monsters?
Throughout Silent Hill 2, you'll overhear James persistently disclose a happy place, a location hidden within the desolate fog that shrouds the town of Silent Hill, and a predominant question that James obsesses over throughout this first half of the game as you explore the town looking for answers. Ultimately, we discover the location of the Lakeview Hotel, the final area where the story unfolds. Of course, James was always referring to a sentimental perception of happiness, using his dead wife as a medium for that. In reality, every physical area in the game besides one are extremely depressing and dark, congruent with small areas like Neely's Bar and main areas such as the apartment complex or historical society, the latter being the most accurate depiction of James's guilt and horrible nature of the town. Regardless, there's always been one area in Silent Hill 2 which acts as the real happy place, a place where characters come together and have normal conversations, instead encapsulating a happy and upbeat environment disconnected completely from the rest of the game, with all the pizza you can eat.
I'll wait here. I hate bowling.
I didn't come here to play, you know.
Hurry back, okay?
Pete's Bowl-O-Rama is located on the west side of town. After completing the first major area, James stops by in search for Laura, with Maria adamantly declaring her hatred for the sport at the front door. Ignoring her plead to wait by the front door, Laura runs away again, making our only visit here very short, unfortunately. James calls Eddie out for being fat and lazy before we leave for the hospital. Now, there's no other location in any game that is as iconic or as memorable as Pete's Bowl-O-Rama in Silent Hill 2. Considering its length and size in general, I think it's still a masterpiece for the reasons that I'm about to detail in this video. The first thing that will immediately strike you will be the warm atmosphere that surrounds this area as a whole. There isn't any enemies here. In fact, the parking lot is very scenic, letting you view the exterior of the bowling alley and its features without disruption. It feels safe, actually, which is both a rarity in Silent Hill and very important for allowing this unexpected contrast in emotion. There isn't another building in the town that has this level of detail associated with it. The drawings on the walls fit the childlike depictions seen just outside the apartment complex. Being that Laura is present in both of these areas, it makes sense for why the town would manifest this. The childlike setting of a bowling alley is a foreign entity to James. The joy of Eddie eating his pizza and Laura's exuberant personality conflict with James's dark mental state in this instance. Although Eddie has committed serious crimes, these characters aren't stricken with any guilt, hence the town giving him a pizza to chew on for eternity. I'm sure if Angela was here, or if James was by himself, this area would be just as serious and depressing as the others we've seen. The billboard is another element which installs this innocent security through the premise of food and drinks. The first thing that comes to mind are like birthday parties, where families or groups of friends sit around and eat pizza, what you'd see in a stereotypical American film from this time period. That's not too far off the scene we actually get. The game cleverly foreshadows the fact that this is a safe haven before we've even entered the front door, using nostalgic triggers and colourful illustrations to do so. The interior is still dark and dilapidated, much like the others. The lobby is one of the few silent rooms in the franchise, allowing you to turn on your torch and take in what you can before you're eventually hooked with the setting and music of the main hall. A direct transition from the chilling, otherworldly music of the streets wouldn't work as well. The silence sets the tone for a collision, much like a jump scare in a horror film. At this point, you're not entirely sure if this is really the happy place presented outside, but fortunately, you're almost immediately presented with clarification.
So what'd you do? Robbery? Murder?
Nah, nothing like that.
Huh! You're just a gutless fatso.
What'd you have to say that for?
I thought you said the cops were after you.
No, I just ran because I was scared. I don't know what the cops are doing.
But if you did something bad, Why don't you just say you're sorry? Well, I guess I run away a lot too.
It's no good. They wouldn't listen. Nobody will ever forgive me. Did you find the lady you're looking for? What's her name? Mary?
The character dialogues in the Bowl-O-Rama are some of the only humanizing and natural conversations in the game. Taking inspiration from David Lynch films, much of Silent Hill's character interactions are intentionally weird and unpredictable. This is especially true with characters like Angela, as well as James's more self-reflective dialogues. They are presented in a deranged and absorbed manner. James himself knows that his wife is dead, yet the letter is always here in his inventory, where it deteriorates over the course of the game as he comes to terms with his actions. It was never more than an incentive to lure James to Silent Hill in the first place. My point is that Mary's reading of the letter at the end of the game is the only human element if excluding our interaction with Eddie at the Bowl-O-Rama. This is why it stands out as the most normal. It's the closest thing we have to a traditional hub area, and I think there was a missed opportunity for us to travel back here later in the game to discover a completely different version of it, similarly to the secret at Neely's bar. The area just looks incredible visually. I love the soft red carpet and hardwood floor. Even things like the pizza or green ball add so much more vibrancy to the overall experience. By this point we're used to the extremely repetitive and bland environments of the apartment complex and pedestrian areas. So more stimulating colours like neon green help to break the monotony, which is an ongoing theme here, and is obviously intentional. The lighting isn't particularly light or dark. The floodlights add enough atmospheric lighting to visualise the setting while hanging out with Eddie at the table. It's just awesome, man. If you get it, you get it. Personally, I could stay here for hours just to relax, and it's very difficult to leave. The number one thing that makes Pete's Bowl-O-Rama as iconic as it is the music, second only to the Heaven's Night theme, which takes place directly after. This is what really sets the mood of the area ahead of everything else. Like the atmosphere and characters, most of the music follows a similar pattern of uncanniness. They range from metallic compositions with random intervals, to the dreamy ambient sounds which construct an alienish nature through the constant droning and piercing volumetric changes. Alone in the Town isn't like this in the slightest. We have a relaxing fade-in, which doesn't catch us off guard, a relative beat, and the use of many instruments. It's harmless and actually very catchy. It's like something you'd hear in Bully or something while mysteriously trespassing around the school at night. But most importantly, the song is upbeat, which combines well with the welcoming nature of the Bowl-O-Rama. Overall, Pete's Bowl-O-Rama is my special place whenever I decide to play through Silent Hill 2 every few years or so, and is probably my favourite small area in any video game ever made. Lastly, I couldn't ever blame Eddie for sitting at this table and eating pizza in a place like this.
Forget you.